G'day friends, it's Andrew Goodall here again from Nature's Image Photography, and in this video I'll be unboxing my new Phottix M200R LED light for video. Before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell to keep in touch with all new content from my world of photography. I want to stress that this is not supposed to be an expert review. I'm only getting started with video myself, and this is the first bit of video lighting I've ever bought. But if you're doing some comparison shopping, you might like to know what's inside that big white box. And if you watch right to the end, I'm going to show you a couple of sample clips from my first outing. So, on with the unboxing. So after removing the outer strip, the first thing you see is a diagram of the unit on the lid. It's the same size as the unit itself, so even before you remove the lid you have a pretty good idea of dimensions. When you take the lid off, the first thing you see is the LED unit itself. Just a tiny bit of packaging to be removed, and then I was able to switch it on for the first time. Mine came with about a 50% charge, so if you want to have a play with it right away, you won't be disappointed. Next come the instructions. I've never been much of an instruction reader, and as you'll see in a moment, the basic operation is pretty simple. However, I'm going to need those instructions if I really want to find all the effects modes, which apparently include candlelight, strobe, fire truck, flash, fireworks, and a whole lot more. There are also a couple of colour chart stickers tucked inside, which could go on the back of the unit, but I honestly don't know how useful they'll be. The instructions are in English, and on the reverse side the same instructions in Chinese. The last page of your instructions is the warranty card, so you're going to want to hold on to that. Then inside the box there's another box, so now let's see what's inside there. First up, there's a soft pouch to carry the LED light in. It's only big enough for the unit itself, so you'll need to have some other storage for any accessories you want to carry. Then there's a little mini tripod. It's only small, but it could come in handy when you need to use the light hands-free. It's got a wide base when it's opened out, so it's surprisingly stable for such a small item. Next there's what they call a cold shoe attachment. This is used to attach the light to the camera by fitting into the hot shoe where you would normally fit an external flash. We'll have a closer look at that in a moment. Then there's a wrist strap to make it easier and more secure to carry around, and it only takes a moment to find the little slot in the corner where it ties into place. And finally it comes with its own USB cable for charging. It's a USB-C, which is the same type I use for my Samsung phone, so that's handy for me. And it's even handier to know that the light also works as a power pack. Where I have it lying on the table here, you can see two sockets. One is for power in to charge the light, but the larger one is for power out, so you can use the M200R to recharge your mobile phone. Okay, that's what's in the box. Now let's take a look at some of the features. First, if you're wondering about the size, you can see here it's about the same size as my Samsung mobile phone. It's a little thicker than a phone and just a bit heavier, but that gives you a good practical idea of the dimensions. Now on to the buttons, and the on switch sits all by itself on top of the unit. It's easy to operate, and it's slightly recessed to make it harder to knock it on by mistake. Then on the back you have your operations. Brightness is controlled by a simple dial that rolls up for brighter, down for darker. Color temperature is controlled by a little joystick style switch, and then you have the mode button that lets you go from a basic lamp to a variety of creative modes. And after selecting the mode you want, you can still go back to dial the brightness and color temperature up and down. And you can keep track of all your settings plus remaining battery life on a rear LED screen that's pretty basic but easy to read. Now it usually takes two hands to control your camera, so the light really needs to be hands-free, and that's where a couple of those accessories are going to come in handy. Let's look first at how it attaches to the camera. That little cold shoe item screws into a hole at the bottom of the unit, and there's a tightening wheel to make sure it's firmly attached. The bottom slides into your camera's flash hot shoe, and there's a second tightening wheel to make sure it's firmly attached there as well. As long as you remember to use those wheels, the whole thing is very secure, and you can now operate a handheld camera knowing the light will always be pointing in the right direction. And then you have the mini tripod. It's very compact, but the three legs fold out to a nice wide base to make it nice and stable. There are two levers that fold out from the main body, and these are used to hold the unit in place. The top section slides up and it's spring loaded, so when you push the unit into position, it snaps back into a nice tight grip. It does a good job, but it is a bit fiddly. It took me a few tries to make this demo, and I did feel like I could use an extra hand once or twice. But once in place, it has a good firm hold. It can tilt to let you control the angle, and because it holds at the centre you still have easy access to all the buttons and dials. I think it's worth noting that the same thread that attaches to the cold shoe can also be used to attach to almost any regular tripod, so I guess I'll just have to wait and see how much use I actually get out of this little accessory. Okay, so that's me unboxing and getting to know the Phottix M200R LED light. As I said, it's not a performance review, I've barely had a chance to use it, but I do want to finish now with a bit of footage from my one and only outing so far with my great friend Alle Heggum. Thanks for watching, and before you go, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.